I'm doing my oral presentation on Dr. B.F. Skinner, and this is accompanied with my um, philosopher analysis paper that we turned in for Module 5.
I think today we have reached the point where not only can we dream about a better way of life, but we can make specific proposals. And that's where my own work comes in. I've been for 35 years concerned with behavior.
Dr. B.F. Skinner was born in Pennsylvania on March 20th, 1904. He is said to have had a warm and loving childhood and family. He had one brother. His father, which is pictured at the bottom left, is or was a lawyer, and his mother was a housewife. After high school, he did attend Hamilton College and then later Harvard University, where he studied psychology. With education, B.F. Skinner had a certain philosophy that had two basic principles. The first, that a teacher must acknowledge and respond to both verbal and nonverbal behaviors. After something is taught or after something occurs, the teacher needs to respond to the student in certain ways so that the behavior can either be continued or that the student knows to end the behavior. His next principle was that in order for a child to learn, or for anyone to learn, he or she must gain interest in the education. We may be able to condition responses, but to truly learn, a child must have interest in what's being taught. His quote is that teachers must learn how to teach. They need only to be taught more effective ways of teaching. One of his learning theories that is wildly popular is operant conditioning. This image here shows a graphic of what he did. He had lab rats and he created devices, and according to what the rat did as a response to a stimulus, it would either reward or maybe make a buzz to keep the rat from doing the behavior again. These consequences are associated with the voluntary behavior. Again, this is just an image of what he did with the rats in his experiment. He also developed reinforcement ideas, both positive and negative. So a positive reinforcement would add something pleasant to the response from a stimulus. The rat or the pigeon may gain food. They may, something as simple as a dog getting pet. The negative would be to take away a stimulus that's occurring due to a response. So maybe there's a loud noise, and if a creature or a person does something correct, it takes the loud noise away. Punishment is when you add a bad reaction or you add a bad condition to something to stop a behavior from occurring. Spankings, corporal punishment, that would be a example of punishment. Making a child write on the blackboard, for instance. You're adding something to decrease the behavior. Here is a video of a pigeon experiment that he did that involved operant conditioning.
The two pigeons are at either end of a small ping pong table. One pigeon pecks the ball as it comes toward him and knocks it toward the other pigeon. The other pigeon pecks the ball back across the table. If it goes past one pigeon, the other pigeon can eat, and if it goes the other way, the other pigeon eats. So it's a real game. The pigeon is reinforced for a cross-court shot if that is what gets the ball past his opponent.
Now, one critical analysis of his work is that he did not take into account disabilities. Granted, his work was completed in the early 20th century, and prior to the 60s, 70s, even today, there was not much information regarding disabilities. So it can be said that some of the ideas and theories that he had would not be the same with a child with a disability. Many advocacy groups also explain that behaviorism does not necessarily always work with people or students that have disabilities. This is a final video of an interview that B.F. Skinner conducted that summarizes his ideas.
The human organism, given its genetic endowment, has created an environment, social and physical, in which the human individual can behave most effectively, develop all of those behaviors of which he is capable, and in doing so, make that particular way of life most likely to solve his problems.
Again, I want to thank you for spending a couple minutes with me to discuss B.F. Skinner, and I look forward to learning much more about different theories in education.